he shewed himself onto the people after his rising from the dead in the spirit, right? But this right here, this is when he's in the flesh. Okay? Verse 6. And this he said to prove him, all right? For he himself knew what he would do. Verse 7. Philip answered him, 200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. Verse 8. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, saith unto him, there is a lad here which have 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? And Hamashiach Yahushai said, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place. All right, so they were sitting like on a meadow or some sort of a field or something, right? Or a prairie, if you want to get, technical with it, right? So the men sat down and number about 5,000. And Hamashiach Yahushai took 2 loaves, and when he had given thanks to the Most High, all right, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to him that were sat down, and likewise of the fish, okay, of the fish, as much as they would. When they were filled, he said unto his disciples, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be lost. Verse 13. Therefore they gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eating. Verse 14. Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Hamashiach Yahushai did, said, this is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. All right, this is what was spoken of Hamashiach in the Old Testament. Okay, so this is for all of those people who only follow the Old Testament only. This right here is speaking that Hamashiach was spoken about in the Old Testament, right? Verse 14 again. Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Hamashiach Yahushai did, said, this is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. Verse 15. When Hamashiach therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone. All right. So once again, twice have Hamashiach Yahushai fed the people sheep. All right. When he was in the flesh in the world, and when he was in the spirit after the Most High risen him from the dead. Okay. So we're going to go to the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 1. Starting at verse 29. And it reads as follows. And the Most High said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree that in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. All right, so this is where your vegans and your vegetarians get the doctrine from. That, oh, when the Most High is speaking about meat, he's only talking about fruits and vegetables, things that bear seed. All right, so what about the male version of an animal? What about the male version of a fish? What about the male version of a bull? What about the male version of a sheep? All right, or any other clean animal that the Most High permits us to eat? The male version of a chicken or a gain or whatever, or a quail. All right, they bear seed. The man bears the seed, right? Okay, so this is where the vegans and the vegetarians get stumbled over. This is their stumbling block, because they think that the Most High is only talking about vegetables and fruits here. But I've already proven to you through numerous scriptures that the Most High and Hamashiach fed the people of Israel, the children of Israel, meats. All right? Fleshly animal meats, okay? Biblically clean meats, all right? But this is not to down you, as I said before, this is an edification video. This is not a bashing video, right? So if you want to be vegan, fine. If you want to be a vegetarian, fine. The Most High says here in verse 29, once again, and the Most High said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. All right, so you can be a vegan because the Most High, he gave you the fruits and vegetables in the beginning too, right? Verse 30, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so, all right? So that's where they get stumbled at, But this, like I said, the Most High, he dealt with his children of Israel, his chosen people, in all kinds of ways, no matter if it was through vegetables and fruits or the flesh of animals. When we had to do our sacrifices on the high holy days, which is the Sabbaths and the new moons and the 7 high holy days, we had to give him meat offerings, which was bulls, lambs, sheep, and goats. All right. And also your pigeons. That's another clean bird that we were sacrificing to the Most High. In other words, turtle doves. They're all in the same family of birds. Your pigeons and your turtle doves, right? So we're going to go to chapter 4 in Genesis. And we're going to start at verse 1. And it reads as follows. Move this up a little bit. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High. Verse 2. And she again bared his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. All right, meaning he was just out and about. He was always all over the place. He was hunting. He was doing this. He was doing that. He was building things. He was a man of the streets, basically, right? In modern day terms. Verse 3. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. The fruit of the ground, okay, your vegetables and your fruit of the ground, an offering unto the Most High, right? And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock, all right? What was he a keeper of? Sheep, all right? He brought the firstlings of the flock and of the fat thereof, the fat which is the meat of the sheep, all right? And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering, all right? But unto Cain and to his offering, which was the fruits and vegetables, he had not respect, okay? And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Most High said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance falling? All right. Verse 7. If thou doest well, okay, if you would have brought me some meat, all right, if you would have bought me a lamb, if you would have bought me a bull, if you would have bought me a turtle dove or something, all right, or a goat, as the Most High says here, verse 7, if thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted, all right, as Abel was accepted for his offering? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. All right, so if you don't respect the Most High, and giving him his righteous offerings, okay, then sin lieth at the door. In continuation, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. All right, verse 8. And Cain talketh with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. All right. So Cain was so wroth and so envious and jealous of Abel that the Most High accepted his offering, which was meat, all right, instead of fruits and vegetables. He was so envious and jealous of that the Most High accepted him, that he rose up, as it says here. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. All right. So this is what Cain did. This is your so-called vegan and vegetarian, right? That's what Cain was. He tried to offer onto the Most High a bunch of fruits and vegetables, and the Most High said, no, I'm not having that. That's not what I want. I didn't ask you for fruits and vegetables. I asked you for the firstling of your flock, all right, which was the sheep that Abel bought, of the sheep, all right, of the meat. Okay, so that right again, this right here again reiterates, I should say, that the Most High is more acceptant to meat offerings rather than fruits and vegetables. Okay, so this, like I said, this is not a bashing thing, but you can't try to go out here and deceive people talking about, oh, the Most High or God, which you say, only permitted us to eat fruits and vegetables. And this is not true. It's all through the scriptures here that the Most High deals with flesh. He deals with meat concerning his offerings, all right? So you can't be out here trying to deceive the people talking about the only things that we should be eating is fruits and vegetables. This because, that's your philosophy that you choose to follow, or your lifestyle that you choose to live, all right? Or the diet that you choose to follow. Okay, so it's one thing, to try to keep a certain lifestyle or follow a certain diet or whatever, or follow a certain philosophy, which is vain and vanity anyway. You're supposed to be following the scriptures for one, especially if you call yourself a religious Christian, right? But it's another thing when you try to deceive the people and say, oh, we're not supposed to be eating animal flesh. We're supposed to be eating fruits and vegetables only. And I just proved to you through the scriptures, man, that's a pure, unadulterated lie, man, right? So we in chapter 7 in the book of Genesis. And I'm going to start at verse 10, and it reads as follows. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth, and the 600th year of Noah's life, and the 2nd month, and the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. All right. And the same day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth and the sons of Noah and Noah's wives and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. All right. So the reason why I'm starting all the way up here is to paint the picture of what I'm talking about, right? I could get straight to the point, but I want to let you know exactly where this is coming from. That's the reason why I'm starting so far up, right? Verse 14. They and every beast of his kind, every beast of after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into, onto Noah's, into the ark. Wow, that's a tongue twister there. Verse 15 again. And they went in unto Noah into the ark. Wow. 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. Verse 16. And they that went in, male and female of all flesh, as the Most High commanded him, and the Most High shut him in. Verse 17, and the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lift up upon the earth, above the earth. Salakia, verse 18. And the waters prevailed and were increasingly great upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. Verse 19. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the hills, the high hills that were under the whole heaven was covered. Verse 20. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both fowl and of cattle and of beasts, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Every man, all right, and every man. Verse 22. And in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in dry land died, and every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle and creeping thing and fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Okay, so as it says here again, when Noah entered into the ark, what was he carrying, or what did he let inside of the ark? It was all animals, it was all flesh. All right, he didn't gather a bunch of fruits and vegetables into the ark. Okay, this was all fleshly animals of every kind. All right, we're going to go to chapter 9 in the book of Genesis. All right, so that right there is to prove to you in chapter 7 that if the Most High only commanded us to eat only fruits and vegetables, then why did he commanded Noah to get every animal of every kind into the ark so they can survive the flood? Right? Okay, so we're in chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 13. Now, this is in continuation what I was reading in 7. Okay? Verse 13, and it reads as follows. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. Verse 16. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between the Most High and every living creature, Salakia, of all flesh that is upon the earth. All right. So the Most High is letting you know his covenant is not going to be broken, no matter what. So you can't change what the Most High said and say, oh, we're only supposed to eat fruits and vegetables now. But the Most High have high holy days and ordinances that we should keep, and dietary laws of the earth that we should be keeping until he sends Hamashiach back. All right, as it says here, his covenant is forever. That's the reason why you see the bow in the sky, right? To let you know that his covenant lasts forever, meaning his dietary law, okay, and all of his other ordinances and all of his laws, statutes, commandments. All right, we're going to jump down to chapter 25 in the book of Genesis. All right, so this is to let you know, man, that no matter what people say or how they try to deceive you, talking about we should be eating fruits and vegetables, but it says right here that the Most High have given Noah a sign for a everlasting covenant, which is the bow in the heavens. All right, an unchanging and everlasting covenant until he sends Hamashiach back. All right. So we in the book of Genesis 25, and we're going to go down to verse 24 through 34, and it reads as follows. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. All right. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. Verse 26. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him. Verse 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, all right, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. All right, so that sounds familiar. All right, that sounds like Cain and Abel. All right, in this sense, Esau was Cain and Jacob was Abel. Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, which was Cain. He was a tiller of the ground, basically the same type of guy, right? And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, right? Just like Abel was. He was a homebody. He was a keeper of the flock of the sheep, right? Verse 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his vengeance, but Rebekah loved Jacob, all right? So the father, which is the dad, I should say, not the father. We only have one father, which is the heavenly father. So Esau's dad, which is Jacob, showed favor to Esau because he was a man of the field and he hunted his own animals, okay, his own fleshly animals to eat, all right? But Rebekah loved Jacob, all right? That's what vengeance is. Vengeance is basically beef. It's your bullock, all right? Your red meat, so to speak. Verse 29. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field and was faint. All right. So Esau, he been out in the field all day. And he been out there so long, he was tilling the ground so long, he became faint. All right. Verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. All right. So the red pottage that Jacob was making was red beef stew. It was red bullock stew, right? Or it could have been goat stew. Who knows, right? For I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Okay, Edom means red. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? All right, so this is letting you know that Esau, he didn't even give a damn about his birthright, man. He was so hungry that he was like, forget this birthright. I don't care about this. I don't care if this a birthright given from the Most High to me, as the oldest child. I'm at the point where I'm about to die. This don't mean nothing to me no more. All right, so this put an end to the stigma of Jacob stealing Esau's birthright. He didn't steal Esau's birthright. Esau gave that birthright up willingly and carelessly, all right, as it says here. And Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he swore unto him, and he sold, okay, it didn't say he was tricked out of, or he was manipulated out of. It says he sold his birthright onto Jacob, all right. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of the lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised, okay, hated, despised his birthright. All right, so once again, that reiterated it there in verse 34 that Esau wasn't tricked out of his birthright, right? He gave Jacob the birthright. Okay, so just to show you what vengeance is, just for the record. Okay. And there you have it.
Venison.
or venison, Salakia, for pronouncing that wrong. All right, so this is what this is, right? If we go to the images, okay, that's what that is. That's what Jacob was cooking, all right, which is your bullock, according to the biblical scriptures. But nowadays, it's just called beef and steak or whatever, all right? Okay, you got it right there, too. That's your deer meat, right? Your venison, okay? That looks like lamb chops there. All right, so anything that's concerning red meat, basically. All right, that's red pottage. That's what Esau was begging Jacob for. And this is what he sold his birthright for. All right. So even in the book of Genesis, Esau and Jacob was dealing with meat. All right. You know, they wasn't arguing over a bunch of fruits and vegetables. All right. Or Esau wasn't telling Jacob, hey, why are you cooking that venison or venison, Salakia? You know, you should be making stew vegetables or eating some fruits or something, right? So as it says here, man, in the book of Genesis, you know, that's what Esau sold his birthright for red venison, red pottage, right? Which is meat, animal flesh, okay? So we're going to go to Genesis chapter 27. Okay, we're in the book of Genesis 27, starting at verse 1 through 10, and it reads as follows. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here I am. Verse 2. And he said, Behold, I am old, I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison. All right, so even Isaac was asking Esau to go get him some beef, or some goat, or some lamb or something, all right, or some deer meat, right? Verse 4. And make me savory meat, okay? So as I said before, when it's talking about meat in the scriptures, it could be talking about vegetable flesh, it could be talking about fruit flesh, it could be talking about anything that's concerning the flesh of something that bears seeds, right? Even your animal flesh, okay? In which bear seed, the male versions of that animal, all right? So meat can mean either three things in the Bible, okay? Verse 4 again. And make me savory meat, such as I love, all right? And bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. Verse 5. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went into the field to hunt for the venison and to bring it. All right. Verse 7. Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat it, and bless thee before the day of, blessed Salakia, thee before the Most High, before my death. All right, let me read it again. Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat, and bless thee before the Most High, before my death. Verse 8. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, all right, which is the goats without blemish, so to speak. And I will make them savory meat for thy father or thy dad, such which he loveth. Verse 10. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. Okay. Let's jump down to verse 14. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, And his mother made savory meat, such as his dad beloved. All right, let's jump down to verse 24. And he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. All right, so right there, again, it's reiterating that meat is fine to eat. All right, I ain't talking about the meat of a vegetable. I ain't talking about the meat of a fruit. All right, I'm talking about the meat and flesh of an animal. Okay, so all of the lies and deceptions start there. You know, the Most High didn't say that we're only to eat fruits and vegetables. All right, as I proved it through all of the scriptures that I brung out in this video, the Most High and Hamashiach Yahushai fed the children of Israel meat, all right? Animal flesh, okay? So I'm going to go back to the book of Romans, chapter 14, and I'm going to end this here. All right, we're in the book of Romans, chapter 14, starting at verse 1, and it reads as follows. Him that is weak in the faith receiveth ye, but not to doubtful disputations. Verse 2. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. All right, herbs only. Verse 3. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not. All right. So if you're a person that eat meat, don't despise the person that don't eat meat. All right. That's the conclusion of the whole matter is. So you're not supposed to judge. This as is written, you know, in the book of Corinthians and Romans and Colossians. You're not supposed to judge in meat or in feast or in a high holy day. All right. Verse 3 again. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth. For the Most High have received him. Okay? So no matter what, you know, just like I said, you know, this is not a bashing video on vegans or vegetarians or meatitarians or whatever. You know, it's an edifying video. All right, so the Most High reserve us both. He perceive us and receive us both, man. No matter if you're a vegan, vegetarian, or meatitarian. You know, as long as you're eating biblically clean stuff, no swine, no shellfish, no pork, you know, no bacon, no BLTs, no pork chop sandwiches or whatever, no ham hocks, no catfish, right? No mussels, no clams, no lobsters, no crabs, no brine shrimp, no caviar, you know, no eel or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you're not eating none of those things, then the Most High is going to receive you, man, as it says here, verse 3. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for the Most High have received him. Okay, let's jump down to verse 19. Let us therefore follow after the things which makes for peace, okay, and things wherewith one may edify one another, okay. Verse 20. For meat destroyeth not the work of the Most High. All things indeed are pure. Okay? So, after bringing out all of those scriptures here in this video, now hopefully that you religious Christians and Roman Catholics can understand that this don't contain to pork.